Watch this, someone claimed spin is useless in serves. This one forearm push adds explosive speed without sacrificing a single revolution. If I don't address this, people will start thinking spin doesn't matter. Someone left a comment saying spin is useless on serves, and that view is completely opposite to what I teach, so I have to set the record straight for all of you. Spin is absolutely essential in serving. A serve with no spin, anyone can return that easily. Name one champion whose serve has no spin. You can't. I've always said deception is important, but spin is the foundation that makes deception possible. Understand? Some comments I can ignore, but when something will mislead my followers and send them in the wrong direction, I have to speak up. If I let people believe spin is useless, everyone stops practicing serves and just works on fake motions. But no matter how fancy your deceptive actions are, without real spin as your foundation, it won't work. Remember that. Now let's talk about speed. I recently taught a technique I call the dragon palm serve. Why do so many players' serves lack speed? Because your forearm isn't pushing forward. Watch, see how much faster that is. The ball goes long and fast. Whether you're serving side spin backspin or side spin topspin, you must include a forward pushing motion with your forearm. Now here's the challenge. I'm telling you to brush the ball for spin, but also push forward for speed. This is exactly like the ratio we use in looping. You can't only brush, and you can't only hit through the ball. Neither extreme works. Friction and contact must be blended in the right proportion. So when serving, pay attention to this. After you brush the ball for spin, how do you generate maximum speed? This is crucial. The question is, where does that burst of speed come from? Watch, I'll show you a couple of serves. See how fast that ball travels. What's generating that speed? Let me move over here so you can see better. Watch these serves closely. The ball speed is very fast. Back when I played professionally, I used to rely heavily on high toss serves. High toss left side spin serves were my specialty. I served high toss all the time. See, this ball is also very fast. So again, what's giving me that speed? So what's generating that speed? The ball is fast, floaty, and full of spin. Is it the wrist, the arm, the body, fingers? Every part plays a role, yes. But the majority of the speed comes from the forearm. Watch how I snap my forearm forward through contact. That's where the explosive speed is generated. So the key question is, how exactly does the forearm produce that speed? This point is critical. Speed comes from the forearm, and the key to making your forearm faster is using your elbow as a fixed pivot point. I just taught this to a student these past couple days. When your elbow stays locked in place, your forearm can swing much faster. But if your upper arm and forearm move together as one unit, pushing outward at the same time, that kills your speed. This is an extremely common problem. You see it all the time at the club, players serving like this, with the whole arm swinging together. How can your forearm possibly accelerate that way? Now watch when I fix my elbow as the pivot. See my acceleration point. The forearm whips through incredibly fast. Compare that to the other way. The difference is obvious. When you swing from the shoulder, it's much slower than swinging from the elbow. The elbow pivot is clearly faster. This applies to my hook serve too, it's the same principle. Fix the elbow and whip the forearm out. Whether you're serving side spin or using a hook serve, you must have a fixed pivot point so the forearm can swing fast. That acceleration cannot come from your fingers or wrist alone. It has to come from locking the elbow and letting the forearm do the work. That produces the fastest swing. Try the other way and you'll feel it. You simply cannot generate the same speed. This applies equally to pen hold and shake hand grips. This forearm whip with a fixed elbow is the fastest motion. The other way simply cannot produce the same spin or speed. So remember, Elbow as the pivot, forearm accelerates. Everyone type 2 if you understand. You must separate the upper arm from the forearm, this is critical. Once you've got that separation, the next question is how to actually accelerate the ball. Think about it. How does my forearm swing translate into ball speed? Here's a common mistake that kills your speed. If your swing drops from high to low with too much of a downward arc, you're basically slamming down on the ball. That kind of serve ends up with neither spin nor speed. Now watch from behind me to see why. Watch how low the trajectory is, right over the net, fast and flat. See how it hugs the net. From the moment I contact the ball to where my swing finishes, look at the downward angle. Watch carefully. Is it a big angle? That ball broke, okay, watch again. Is the angle big? No, it's not. I'm not slamming downward. This is a very common problem among amateur players. The entry angle is too steep. Why does that happen? You want to brush down for spin, but you're afraid the ball will drop into the net, so you start the contact up at chest height and chop down toward your stomach. The steeper that angle, the higher and slower the ball bounces. The contact point is simply too high. Instead, I generate force from my navel down to my lower abdomen, just this small range. Watch, navel to lower abdomen, that's it. By keeping the swing in this compact zone, I can control the trajectory and keep it low and fast. I can control the arc this way. If you chop from your chest down to your stomach, the ball will bounce high, killing both speed and spin. Pay close attention to this. So whether you're serving side spin topspin or side spin backspin, you must control the height difference in your swing. Even though my ball toss is high, I still drop down and contact the ball low. Keep the contact point as low as possible. The actual contact window is extremely brief because it requires concentrated friction. Adding spin happens in an instant. The more explosive that short burst of force, the more spin you get. And to add speed, you push forward, not downward. A downward motion only makes the ball bounce higher. It just becomes a slam. Forward acceleration is what creates speed. Remember this point, not every lesson on serving will be included in the full course, so pay close attention now. For amateur players, without solid serve and receive skills, nothing else works. Tomorrow we'll cover serve and attack sequences. For example, you serve a heavy side spin backspin, the opponent loops it up, and you counterattack. But if your serve has no real spin, just a half spin, no spin ball, your opponent will power loop right through you. Now watch, when I serve with heavy spin, the opponent can only push or lift a high, slow loop. Even strong players mostly make errors against it. That's the difference real spin makes. Not every lesson will be in the full course, so pay close attention. During the acceleration phase, don't let the racket angle change too much. Generate force from your navel down to your lower abdomen. From the side, you can see the arc stays low. The height difference must be small. Never swing high and slam downward. That's the most critical point. The moment the ball slows down or bounces high, all your spin is gone. Now let's practice.